In this video, we uncover the terrifying story of a serial killer who believed he had gotten away with murder until one teen miraculously came back from the dead. Tina, Dawn, and Linda were all caught in his horrifying spree. But the survival of one young girl changed everything, exposing the full extent of his crimes. Pay close attention to this man in the video. He's lying about something very scary. I want a date. I want to meet you. In the 1980s, people used these kinds of tapes to find dates. No one knew that the man on the records was actually a serial killer. I have what I call a need to meet. It is 1984 and the Miss Florida pageant is being held in Miami. It looks like the woman on screen is one of the contestants, but she suddenly vanishes soon after. As the cops began their investigation, they saw a photographer who was always following the girls around and taking pictures of them. A woman had gone missing at the Miami Grand Prix not long before that event. The police are confused because they saw the same man there, but this time he wasn't a photographer. He was a race car driver. He's already left town when the cops try to find him. It's too late to catch him at that point. Young women are going missing all over the land. The search that comes next is one of the biggest in U.S. history. We don't know which way he went at this point. If they don't get him tonight, he could be anywhere by morning. But when one of his victims miraculously lives, everything will change. The 16-year-old is the key to stopping him. She will come back from the dead to get even with him and finally beat him. It is 1984 in Florida's Tallahassee. Linda Grover, who is 19 years old and a junior at Florida State University, is living the dream of going to college. She has been with the same man for a long time, loves her studies very much, and can't get enough of the waves along the Gulf Coast. For Linda, life is like a long, beautiful summer. But on March 20th, just a few days before her boyfriend and her 5th wedding anniversary, Linda takes a quick trip to Governor's Square Mall, happily not knowing that this task will soon turn dark. This department shop will be the last place anyone knows she was before she disappears. When Linda shows up again on March 21st, 12 hours later, she is 40 miles away from the mall, barefoot and scared. She runs up to the front desk of a Florida hotel by the side of the road. The night manager stops moving when he sees her. Her voice is shaky. Help her out. Soon after, a constable runs into the motel. Linda can't say anything but scary things. Someone took me hostage and tortured me, she said. The police officer quickly called for help and went straight to the room she pointed out. When the door finally opens, there is a terrible scene inside. There's blood on the walls and carpet, and there are torn bits of duct tape on the floor. He radios for help right away and calls for an investigative team. There was a brutal and upsetting event here. At the same time, Linda is rushed to Memorial Hospital in Georgia, but she won't stay quiet even though she is badly hurt. Police stations all over the state quickly hear about her amazing survival. And finally, 2 officers in Miami, which is almost 500 m away, hear about it too. Detective Hanlon and his coworker get chills when they read about the criminal's physical traits in the police records. He was said to be tall, well-dressed, have a slight accent, and have a clean face and mustache. Feels too much like home. Both guys get on a plane right away to go to Georgia to meet Linda in person. This might make things different if their guess is correct. At the hospital in Georgia, the police pay close attention to Linda's story. He came up to me in the store and asked me if I was interested in being a model, and I said no. I had a boyfriend who wouldn't like that very much and wasn't really interested in modeling, and he had followed me out to my car. So that's when things kind of unfolded, and that's when I got nervous. I think he sucker punched me in the solar plex, and I woke up and was in his car. The police are impressed by how quickly she thinks. If their gut feeling is right. The man who took her is very vicious and dangerous, and he has already hurt many people. With care, they carefully pull out a bunch of pictures to show Linda. Without doubt, she picks out one man. Even though she doesn't know his full name, the police do. She identified the photographs, right? William Christopher Bernard Wilder. They've been after this man for a few weeks, and now he's crossed state lines with Linda. Detective Hanland knows that the FBI needs to be called in. 23-year-old Miss Florida Elizabeth Kenyon went missing without a trace. Wilder was seeing the girl at the time she went missing, but he was nowhere to be found when police wanted to ask him. Elizabeth wasn't the first, though. Rosario Teresa Gonzalez, 20, had been reported lost from the Miami Grand Prix a week before Christopher Wilder went missing. She was also in the race. When the police get back to the hospital, they talk to Linda again and get more details. Also, new stories start coming in about young women who are missing in different states and towns, but the pattern is always the same and very scary. Cheryl Bonaventura was an aspiring model. She disappeared from this shopping center in Mesa, Colorado. His latest suspected victim, a 21-year-old Oklahoma woman whose body was found in Kansas. They found the body the day after Suzanne disappeared. Las Vegas becomes the seventh city in a trail of abductions. 17-year-old Michelle Korfman of nearby Boulder City has been missing for 3 days. When you'd get the call that they found somebody, good God, I knew damn well it was Wilder. Wherever he went, someone died. He's killing someone every 2 or 3 days, but he's also deliberately stopping to do it. Now it's April 4th, 1984, 2 weeks after Linda was taken and 1 month since the Miami Grand Prix, when cops first became aware of Wilder. Over in California, a 16-year-old girl named Tina Marie Rizzico is eager to find a summer job as she walks through a mall. Later that same day, the guy talks to her. People walking by notice that they don't seem to know each other, but the way they're talking to each other is polite and friendly. After that, they are seen walking in the parking lot. A few seconds later, she's in his car and they're gone. Christopher Wilder has just found his next target, but she doesn't know it. The next day, April 5th, Tina's mom calls the cops to say that her daughter is missing. She tells them Tina isn't home from school and hasn't talked to anyone all night. Later, the worried mom tells them that Tina has been having problems with her boyfriend. The California police don't take her absence seriously at first because they think it might be a small fight between teens. But Tina's situation is actually very serious. 200 m away from her mom, the girl is stuck in a motel room and can't move. She is upset about what just happened. The mall worker sleeps next to her and her mind is filled with his threats. I've killed people before, and if you don't listen to me, I'll kill you. When the sun finally comes up, Wilder blindfolds her and takes her back to his car. She knows his gun and knife are close by, even though she can't see them. Tina thinks the car has stopped and slowed down after hours of scary quiet and darkness on the road. He has picked out a new motel to stay the night. Wilder stood next to Tina at the hotel that night with a pair of scissors. Tina's hair was very long on the day she disappeared. He cuts off the first lock of hair to her chin without telling her. Tina sees something that makes her feel both scared and relieved. She figures out that he's changing how she looks so that no one can tell who she is. This man probably wants to keep her living. Tina starts to do some strange things. They drive all day until it gets dark, stopping only to get petrol and food every so often. Tina looks for any chance to leave a note at a small drive-in restaurant, like a bathroom window or a piece of paper. But Wilder is always watching. Her dream of getting away slowly goes away. She hasn't been seen or heard from in 6 scary days. But on day 7, April 10th, they get to Gary, Indiana, which is a very long way from Tina's home in California. She can't think of anything else to do when Wilder turns to her. She will not live to see another day if she does not help him find a new victim. Wilder is always in Tina's mind as she walks through the local mall in fear. She can't help but think of what she could do to assist the following girl. Tina sees that Wilder is really interested in someone who looks like they are about the same age as her. He looks at Tina again and gives her an order with a nod. Tina does what she's told and walks up to say hello. The girl does the same. Dawn is her name. I do know I came out of applying and I was approached by a girl. He told me, say hi, that she's beautiful, but she'd be interested in becoming a model. Let me introduce you to him as to what I said to her. Wilder claims to be a photographer, while Tina talks about a local beauty pageant. Dawn seems excited and goes outside with them. All of a sudden, Wilder pushes Dawn hard into his car, and they speed off quickly. As they drive, Wilder stops being the charming smooth talker he usually is and starts threatening Dawn, telling her that he's killed people before and will kill her, too, if she doesn't behave. Wilder stops the car at an Ohio hotel as night falls. As soon as the group walks into the room, he breaks the bathroom lock so the girls can't get out. After that, he tells Tina to go take a bath, leaving Dawn and himself in the bedroom alone. During that time, I wasn't a human to him. I wasn't a person to him at all. Tina can see lights flashing all over the place from under the bathroom door. She knows right away what the man is doing to Dawn. It's the same torture he's been giving her for 7 days. The three of them get back in the car the next morning and drive east. Wilder leaves at some point, leaving Tina and Dawn alone. There is a part of me that had awareness that she wasn't voluntarily and maybe initially with him. I did say, how are we going to get, out of this? How are we going to get out of this? I thought that maybe we could get through this together, but that didn't happen. It's now April 10th to 12th. They are staying at a hotel in Victor, New York. And all of a sudden on the TV, my mother shows up. I'm like, oh my God, there's my mom. And if this guy does have her, so help me God, he better not cross my path. Tina is shocked to see her mom on TV. The teen sees her mother making threats against the guy sitting next to her. Her words make a big difference. Tina knows that people are after her, and her mom's bravery and strength change everything. She's not by herself after all. Wilder, on the other hand, feels nothing when her mom appears on TV. He quickly gets his things together, which makes Tina and Dawn hurry. He knows that the police and the families of his victims are closing in on him, but he's not going to give up easily. There's a lot of proof that needs to be put together quickly at the station before time runs out. It's been like ghost hunting, trying to find Christopher Wilder. He never stays in one place long enough for anyone to catch him. He moves between states faster than they can keep up, which slows down operations and causes misunderstandings. It's been more than a month of failed attempts at this point. Now, though, the FBI does something brave. They choose to show a video of Wilder himself. Now people can learn his voice and how he acts, and they can see how dangerous he really is. Okay. Same as Chris Wilder in Florida approximately 11 years. Originally from Sydney, Australia. People are shocked by Wilder's tape. A scary picture of a man who is hiding in plain sight. I'd like to socialize more, so I have what I call a need to meet. I am single, have not been married before, and in the same token, I would like to see a family one day, and I would like a family. It turns out that the photographer is also wanted for a number of serious crimes that happened all the way in Australia. His job as a fashion photographer and his time as a glamorous race car driver have given him the perfect cover to get kids to fall for him. The police are closing in on Wilder because Tina's mom and the people are on their side. At the same time, Wilder drives very fast, trapping Tina and Dawn in the back seat. He stops the car near the Finger Lakes, a remote place in upstate New York. After less than an hour, Dawn is told to get out of the car by Wilder. When Wilder takes Dawn deep into the woods, the man jumps on her and puts his hands around her throat. Dawn's eyes start to get blurry, but she fights with everything she has. They both hit the ground. Dawn doesn't want to give up until she sees Wilder's hand. A flash of metal. He has a knife. Dawn is on the ground and bleeding out. She can only watch as he quietly gets up and walks away, barely alive. Dawn knows he can finish the job at any time. If she wants to live, she has to move. After he's out of sight, she gets back up and tries to run away for her life. So, I remember getting over like a tree, and I believe this was my moment, like the lights and the sunlight and just this feeling of some strength and power. I didn't know what my injuries were. I did know that I could see it and thought it was bad. I didn't have a shirt on, but I had pants on. And so, I took my pants off and tied them around my chest. I am, fuzzy, dizzy, and I make my way to the road. I saw a truck, a delivery truck, and then it drove me to the hospital. At the hospital, they are now taking care of her wounds. For some reason, Wilder missed her heart. The police try to get as much information from Dawn as they can about the person who took her, even though she is badly hurt and has lost a lot of blood. She gives them the name of her captor, where she was taken, and the name of the other girl who was taken, Tina. When Wilder comes back to the car without Dawn, Tina can only think that Dawn has died. But after a few hours, the two say on the car radio that a teenager has been found living. I would like to report that this morning about 9:30 or 10 o'clock, a 16-year-old female was located in a field in rural Yates County. The incident this morning we feel may have a bearing upon Wilder's whereabouts in this area, but we don't know which way he went at this point, and we really need some assistance in locating the vehicle. What active role did the woman play? As far as I know, the woman participated in the abduction, and that is our information. People no longer like Tina at all, but she doesn't know that. In the first few days after she was taken, she was seen as a victim. But now that Dawn has lived and told her story again, the media has changed the story and called her a collaborator. According to the FBI today, Christopher Wilder, wanted for a series of murders and sexual assaults, appears to be on a cross-country crime spree, now with the help of a young woman. Police suspect that the accomplice may be Tina Marie Rico, but that testimony also changed things for the FBI because they now know where Wilder is going and what kind of car he's driving. At last, they're one step ahead of him. Wilder is scared and drives quickly into the New York parking lot of the Eastview Mall. This is his best place to hunt most of the time. He's in a hurry now, though. From far away, he sees Beth Dodge, his mother, driving her golden Pontiac Firebird. She is 33 years old. Wilder pushes Beth into his car with a gun and makes Tina follow them in the Firebird. They stop in a quiet place after a short ride. The minute she got out of the car with him, he told her to walk ahead and he just shot her straight in the back. Point blank, just 33-year-old Beth Dodge of upstate New York was shot in the back. Her body was discovered beside a highway by two truck drivers. FBI agents spent much of the night working from this command center trying to figure out how to stop one of the country's 10 most wanted criminals. He killed her for a car only. This was like out of character for him. So, definitely intensified to me of when am I next? Tina has been locked up for 9 days at this point. Sadly, this isn't the first time she's had to deal with a dangerous man. Her mother had a drug problem when she was young, so she went to live with her grandma. This made her childhood hard. Tina has known how to stay alive for a long time. When I was a little girl, I just observed and learned that I was being shown at such a young age. Be it drugs, sex, or being abused, I was exposed to so much at a young age. So many sick men. I had a few family members that had sexually abused me continually till I was 7 years old. From about 3 to 7, I had lived so much already by the time I was 16. It just came natural for me to absorb this brutality of being controlled. She never could have guessed what Wilder would do next, though. He tells her he'll drop her off at the Boston airport after she has been beaten, tortured, and kidnapped by him. Tina can't believe it. What would make him just let her go after seeing so much? After he shot Beth Dodge, we were just driving towards Canada border and Wilder became different. He put his arm on the middle console, said, "You're going, I'm going to take you to Boston airport and let you go." I'm just to myself like, okay, I'm not going to believe this because it could be a trick. Even though there are traffic jams on all of the major highways, Wilder skillfully avoids them. When they get to the airport, he buys a one-way ticket to Los Angeles. Surprisingly, nobody knows who they are. Tina doesn't look up. It's clear that Wilder is scared and acting carelessly. The killer could change his mind. If Tina does something wrong, he could keep her as a prisoner for life or kill her next. There is fear in the air. Give me your ID. You pay for the ticket. Here's some money or you're gonna need this. Take this $1,000. But then he turns away and goes away, leaving her to get on the plane by herself. I was still afraid he's gonna come back and get me, always looking over my shoulder like, where is he at? Being that I was still in the mindset of being controlled, I was lost. What do I need to do? Not until I was in that plane did I know for sure that I was actually released from him. It's now April 13th. As soon as Tina lands in Los Angeles, she runs to the police station, finally free. She needs to let everyone know about Wilder and make him pay for what he did. The killing spree by Wilder needs to end. He's done enough damage to everyone. My father was never in my life, and now all of a sudden he's there with the top criminal lawyer at the time in the state of California. A criminal lawyer. Am I being charged for something? There were other jurisdictions involved where Dawn was from and Beth Dodge was from, and they insisted that Tina was involved with Wilder and an accomplice. So, they were after her. Miami detectives hope to find out information from 16-year-old Tina Marie Rosso. Rico spent more than a week traveling with Wilder. I don't know that she's going to be able to tell us anything, but I wouldn't rest comfortably till I had the chance to speak with her. The Firebird is being watched by everyone and Tina is helping the police catch her. This has put police all over the country on high alert. We believe that he is in a rather distinctive car. It's a metallic gold 1982 Pontiac Firebird. In that time, the quiet New Hampshire town of Colebrook did. 2 state police saw a flashy car and sent in a report about it. It is certain that the car is the yellow Pontiac Firebird. The 2 state patrol cops move very carefully towards the car. If they're right, the driver is a dangerous serial killer who is armed. Just as the police get close, they see the man inside reach for something. There is gunfire. One soldier is hurt. In the middle of all the chaos, Wilder makes his last move, deciding to get away from justice the way he wants to. He's found dead behind the wheel when the smoke clears. A nationwide manhunt is over. It had been 47 days since he was last seen, but he is no longer on the run. 12 young women were taken hostage, 8 were killed, and many families were broken up during his rampage. I remember they're like, it's okay. He died. And I'm like, did he really? Is it true? Do you remember what went through your mind when you heard he was dead? Relief. What went through my mind was relief. Yeah, relief. Can't live by life. What ifs? But what if he was still alive today? I wouldn't be sitting in this chair today. Only hours after Wilder died, a suspected accomplice turned up. A teenaged woman walking into police headquarters in Torrance, California. She had been seen with Wilder recently in New York. People still question Tina's acts when Linda and Dawn are praised. People in the media find it hard to think she's a victim because her story is so different from those of the other women. All of this, I was a child. I was a minor. And for the media to exploit me, my name, they handled it all wrong from the get-go. People praise Linda and Dawn, but they don't believe Tina's story. People don't support her like they do the others. Instead, they ask her because they are suspicious instead of caring, even though she survived the same serial killer. Now, Jim Pop, the head of the Torrance police force, steps up and calls the press to clear things up. Here is a girl kidnapped, who, according to Lord Don, was present during the shooting of another woman before finally coming to police. How do you explain that? It's easy to sit back and second-guess when you haven't gone through the ordeal. Secondly, the terms that you've used are very, very critical, and the term luring in our investigation was not used. It is the opinion of Torrance investigators that Tia Marie Rico has been a victim throughout the 9 days of terror that ended with her safe return to Torrance. Now that Jim Pop has cleared Tina's name, she can move on, though it will take her a while to get over how people first saw her. I have 2 regrets. Getting in the car and taking Gone. It was a choice. It wasn't mine, but it was a choice. And I have to live with that. Every little word that was what I said to the women. Why did didn't I go away? Why didn't I run away in the car? Why didn't I drive away? Why did I do this? I'm like, why would you? What would you do? This is what I did. And here I am today to tell you about it. I did something right. They think so. You tell me how what you do. I hope after this comes out that somebody can find strength from what I've given in my side of the story. My truth. I hope they can gather something from it and walk away with inspiration. Don't take _ from nobody. Only you can dictate who you are. This really is a story about survival. I think she was a victim and did what she felt like she needed to do to, stay alive. Like it's a survival mechanism like we all have. She is now free to be herself because she has found love. At the same time, Linda knows how lucky she is. When she finally got away from Wilder, she was the first person to do so. The cops finally understood how dangerous he really was because of how brave she was. The 12 hours she went through changed her life forever, but it didn't make her who she is. I learned more and more about all the girls who didn't get a chance and decided that I was in many ways living on their behalf, that I needed to make sure that I did something worthwhile. Dawn knows from being a mom that time does help you heal. She got through a terrible ordeal with strength and drive which have helped her become the woman she is today. I have 2 beautiful children that I live for. We have lots of laughs and fun, and some days are hard and some days are amazing, and it is just this journey, and I don't think that time heals all wounds, but time certainly helps you be able to sit here today because all of the women were able to stay alive. A chain reaction began that ended the beauty queen killer's rule of terror. It wasn't luck that stopped him in the end. The women were the ones who wouldn't let him win. In the end, justice won because they wouldn't be broken. Thank you for watching and following this shocking case until the end. Tina, Dawn, and Linda's story is a chilling reminder of how even the darkest crimes can't escape the reach of justice. The bravery of the survivors, the tireless work of law enforcement, and the twists in this case showed just how unpredictable and intense true crime can be. Every small action, every clue, and every moment of courage played a role in uncovering the truth. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe, hit the bell icon, and turn on all notifications so you never miss our latest investigations. Don't forget to share, and comment below. Share your thoughts, theories, or reflections on this case. Your engagement keeps these stories alive, spreads awareness, and helps this community grow stronger every day. Until next time, stay vigilant, stay aware, and trust your instincts. Danger doesn't always announce itself, and sometimes the most important actions are the ones taken quietly but decisively. Pay attention to your surroundings, speak up when something feels wrong, and protect yourself and those around you. Courage, awareness, and persistence are powerful tools in a world that can be unpredictable. Remember, even in the darkest situations, vigilance and action can make all the difference. If this story shocked you, tell me what you think in the comments. I want to know, where are you watching from today? Whether you're in the US, across the globe, or somewhere in between, drop it in the comments below. It's always great to see how far these stories travel. And if you're finding this case as fascinating as I do, make sure to subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. In this video, we uncover a horrifying true crime case that will leave you angry and heartbroken. The twists, the cruelty, and the sheer injustice behind what happened will make your blood boil. On a late November Sunday morning, someone walking by in the woods near a small stream saw something strange. A small, weak figure was hidden under a mess of downed branches. It was still quiet, and by itself it was Cadzow Glen, a quiet park in the middle of Hamilton, Scotland. And Amber Gibson was the girl that was found there 2 days ago. She was reported missing. There were a lot more questions than answers after the finding. Why did nobody speak up before? What made her clothes stand out? Who called the children's home where she lived to make it look like she was still safe? The last few hours of Amber's life would be very upsetting. This case is one of the worst I've ever seen. Amber Gibson didn't have the normal childhood that most kids do. By the time she was 3, she and her bigger brother, Connor, had been taken away from their birth family and put into foster care. Craig and Carol then took them in and cared for them like they were their own. Eventually, they became their lifelong guardians. Amber was artistic, expressive, and full of possibilities as a child. She liked animals, art, and singing. Later, Amber's foster parents said she was kind, strong, and had a lot of energy that lit up the room. But it was clear from a young age that Amber carried a lot of emotional weight. The same thing happened to brother Connor. Their early years had long-lasting effects on them. Even though the Nans tried to give their children order and love, and there were always problems. When Amber turned 13, she needed more help than before. She was sad to say that she had to go back into foster care when she was 13. Connor lived in an Ven home until he was 18. After that, he went into supported housing. Amber was living at the Hillside Children's Home in Hamilton by the end of 2021. There were only a few miles between where Connor was staying and the Blue Triangle homeless hostel. The brothers got back in touch that year. Even though they had been apart for long periods of their childhood, they started to text each other again. Amber, who is 16 now, seemed hopeful that she and her brother could get back together. She saw it as a chance to start over. On November 26th, Amber told the staff at the children's home that she was leaving to meet him that night. Amber looked like she was very happy. It was getting low on power, so she gave Connor's number to the office. It was just in case. After that, she left into the night. Connor and Amber were more than just a bad pair of brothers. Their long-term foster father said they were a bad match. After the fact, Craig Nan told the judge that they could not be left alone together. He said that they had a lot of fights and that their relationship felt strange, especially as they got older. There were no reports of physical fights between them while they were living together, but there was always a feeling of stress. After both of them had left the foster home, Amber got in touch with Connor again in late 2021. She did so with a careful sense of hope. Amber's time in foster care wasn't fun at all. In June of that year, a man named Homicide ran her in his room while she was asleep or not awake. She bravely told on him, and her story helped get him convicted. Homicide was given a jail sentence of more than 10 years. Even though Amber had a rough childhood and then went through trauma, she still tried to rebuild, but it made her a little more sensitive. The staff at Hill House Children's Unit were wary, but they didn't stop Amber from seeing her brother. An employee tried to talk Amber out of going out that night by saying it was too cold and dark, but Amber pushed. It was just her brother, so what could go wrong? At this point, none of them knew that Connor had recently become less steady, more alone, and more volatile. She had no idea that he was going to call her that night. On the surface, that would sound kind, but in reflection, it would be horrifying. Friday night, November 26th, just after 9:15 p.m., Amber left her cell with the kids. She walked through Hamilton's cold, snowy streets by herself on her way to the town center to meet Connor. By 1:00 p.m., CCTV had caught the brothers together. The place was close to Cadzo Glen. Amber is happy next to her brother in the picture, but she has no idea how important this picture will become in the future. They were still strolling along together. Amber was not seen again after they got to the footbridge near the park. By 11:30 p.m., Connor was seen on stage TV by himself. He was now leaving a wooded area on foot. He was now clearly dirty and messy. His shorts, t-shirt, and jacket were all now stained red. Connor didn't seem scared, though. No matter what had happened, his return to the Blue Triangle office was calm, and he just slouched down in a chair. But he just told them he fell into a ditch even though his hands were dirty and he had small cuts on his legs and what looked like scratches on his arms. After that, he asked to use the office phone. Connor then called Hill House, which was Amber's home for kids. He asked them if his sister was okay after coming back. The worker who answered the phone said that this call made her feel bad. She said that Connor seemed vague and lost. He told her that they had a fight and the cheater had stormed off, but he wasn't sure where. Connor took a shower that night. He took off his clothes and went back outside with a plastic bag. He texted Amber the next day and asked, "Are you okay?" No one ever read that message. The staff at Hill House Children's Unit were getting more and more worried. By bedtime, Amber still hadn't come back. She also didn't answer her phone. By Saturday, November 27th morning, her disappearance was becoming more and more important. When a support worker called Connor, he told them again that Amber had just stormed off after a fight, but he couldn't say when or where it happened. His answers were not very clear, and he got angry when he was told that the cops would be called. The staff got the cops involved. A report of a missing person was made, and search teams started looking all over Hamilton. Since Amber had never run away before, this was a big worry. Police were called to Cadzo Glen on Sunday morning, 2 days after she was last seen. A body had been found there. Her name was Amber. Amber Gibson, sometimes known as Amber Nan, wasn't doing anything different to any other 16-year-old on the night she went missing. According to police who are now investigating her murder, a 16-year-old death is absolutely tragic and certainly one is from a homicide. So, our focus is to understand Amber's last movement so that we can provide some answers to her loved ones. Amber was reported missing from the town of Hamilton just before 10 p.m. on Friday. She was last seen on Cadzo Street after leaving home in the Hill House area around 9:15 that night. On Sunday morning, just after 10 a.m., emergency services were alerted to a body near Cadzo Glen. The next day, police formally identified the body as the missing teenager. Her death was being treated as unexplained before a murder investigation was launched on Tuesday. The park remained sealed off today, the investigation happening in the shadow of a residential street. Just utterly shocked. Really can't believe it. It's far too close to home. It's really frightening. It's a worry that girls, especially young girls, can't walk about at nighttime without things like this happening to them. Police say a key part of their investigation is to establish whether Amber knew her attacker as they try to work out what happened in the hours leading up to the death of a 16-year-old girl who had her whole future in front of her. Well, Amber's family and loved ones are, as you'd expect, said to be devastated by her death. And people who live here are left with a lot of questions as police tried to reassure them in the absence of any arrests. This park is less than a 10-minute walk from Hamilton Town Center, which they say would have been very busy at the time she was last seen. Just the smallest detail could help them move this investigation forward. She was covered in mud. Her clothes were torn. The back of her head, neck, and arms were all bruised. There were 15 different wounds on her face and head. A short distance away, police found her cell phone. It was broken into 3 pieces. The jacket that used to keep her warm was now in the water. Amber was such a well-loved, bright, and lively young girl who attended as a day pupil at our academy in Bathgate. Our children and staff were all devastated by the news of this tragedy and are all working together to support each other at this difficult time. Our sympathies extend to all of Amber's loved ones and to everyone who knew. On Facebook, Brother Connor wrote a message to Amber. "Amber, you will always fly high." It said, "Everyone but me will miss you. Sweetheart, I love you. Goodbye for now." But he was caught the very next day. The CCTV footage really showed what happened. At 9:51 p.m. and again at 10 p.m. cameras in downtown Hamilton caught Connor walking with Amber. First, they were near the shops. Then they went to the entrance to Cadzo Glen through the trees. They were seen having fun. Amber even took a picture of it. She texted her friend that picture and wrote, "My big bro." After that, they were no longer seen by the camera. The next frame shows a different picture. At 11:38 p.m., Connor shows up again. He's now walking alone on a nearby street and looks messy. Amber wasn't to be found, but Hatchie stormed off because Connor said or heard something else. After midnight, he was picked up again by a new camera. This time, it was at the Blue Triangle Hostel's front door. Those clothes are no longer on him. And then, not long after, the camera catches him going again. He has a plastic bag with him this time. He gets out of the picture and walks towards the hostel's trash cans. That bag will be gone when he gets back. In a very scary turn of events, Connor wasn't the only guy police were looking at while they were investigating Amber. Also, this is one of the scariest and strangest things I've ever seen. Another man was there, a guy named Stephen Corian. He was 45 years old, and neither of his brothers knew anything about him. Based on all the information we have, it looks like Stephen found Amber's body by accident in the 2 days after she died. When the cops were finally called, he didn't call for help. Instead, he touched her inappropriately and then hid her under more plants and branches. To be clear, this man did find a dead body and decided to help the person instead of calling for help. He later told the cops that his DNA must have been on her from when he went to the toilet in the bushes months before. William, his 79-year-old father, also spoke out for his son and said he was innocent. He said that from November 26th to November 28th, 2021, he was with him at his home in Blantyre. But forensic scientists made it clear his DNA was found on Amber's body 39 times. This included places where her clothes would have hidden them, and his DNA wasn't just at the scene of the crime. The focus was there. Stool and skin cells were a good match. There was no other logical way for his DNA to have gotten there besides through very close and gross touch. After the fact, the judge told Corin, Any decent person would call 911 right away if they found the naked body of a young girl. But you didn't do that. He would have to deal with real consequences for the decisions he made and the things he did and did not do. But first, both guys had to go through a trial. The case against Connor Gibson began in July 2023 at the High Court in Glasgow. He denied all of the claims. He said that all he had done was fight with Amber and leave. Red DNA was found on his clothes, on her body, and in the trash. He couldn't explain what they were. The cops would look in that bin outside the hostel and find a face mask, a white Levi t-shirt, and a pair of gray shorts that were stained red. They had Connor's and Amber's DNA on them. Based on what they saw, forensic scientists thought that Connor had attacked Amber because of the redness, the transfer of skin cells, and the damage to her clothes. He had taken off her clothes against her will. He raped her and then left her in the woods where she was partly buried by branches. But his defense lawyer said that even though he admitted that he had hit her, he didn't mean to kill her. There were 21 pieces of proof put forward by the prosecution that all linked Connor directly to Amber's abuse, attack, and death. DNA, CCV, texts, calls, and lies were all used. What the doctor said might have been the scariest part. The time for Amber was over when someone put pressure on her neck. In other words, the last thing she saw was her brother's face. In Livingston's High Court on September 4, 2023, Connor Gibson stood in the dock and did not say a word. He got a lifetime in prison. He has to serve at least 22 years before he can ask for release. You've been convicted of the physical assault and murder of your younger sister, Amber Nevin, as she likes to be known. Like you, she had not had the best start in life, being fostered and then residing in a children's home. She also had to deal with having been she would have looked to you as her brother for support. She was looking forward to meeting up with you on the night she was murdered. She even posted a selfie of both of you on Snapchat. You walked with her to Cadzow Glen. There you beat her about the head, breaking her nose, removed her clothing, and assaulted her with intent to, and then manually strangled her to death. The last person she saw alive was you, her brother, strangling a life out of her, having beaten her up and tried to kill her. What you did was truly evil. In sentencing you, I take into account your age, your difficult background, everything that's been said on your behalf, background report, your lack of criminal record, and of course the circumstances of your appalling crimes. I hereby sentence you to life imprisonment. Stephen Corrigan got his sentence at the same time. He got 9 years in prison for messing with Amber's body and trying to hide it. And in fact, the judge also used the word evil to describe Connor Gibson's crimes, for which, as you rightly say, he will now spend the rest of his life in prison, a minimum of 22 years before he will be considered, and the judge stressed being considered for release on parole. The crime itself was, as you say, a depraved one. Connor Gibson walked his younger sister, 16-year-old Amber, to Parklands. He then proceeded to try and cover up his crimes. He lied repeatedly, in the words of the judge, before CCTV footage, and indeed forensic evidence ultimately exposed his lies, and he was convicted after a 2-week trial. There were foster parents in court for the Novinans, Amber and Connor. When the decision came out, they made a quiet, sad statement. One of our daughters is now buried in El Cemetery and another is in jail. Things will never be the same again. Also, they said what many people already thought. Amber had failed care services, the care system, and many of the people who were supposed to protect her failed her. The person she should have been able to trust the most also failed her. Her big brother. I just think it's terrible that Amber has failed so many times. And to top it all off, some unknown man treated her badly again. Sometimes the world is really that bad. What are we going to do? If this story shocked you, tell me what you think in the comments. I want to know, where are you watching from today? Whether you're in the US, across the globe, or somewhere in between, drop it in the comments below. It's always great to see how far these stories travel. And if you're finding this case as fascinating as I do, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads.